this is Roshni. In this video, we are going to see about array in Java. So what is an array? Array is a collection of similar data type. Why we want this collection of similar data type? Let's discuss that first. So usually if I want to store a mark, how will I store? I will first say the type of the data, that is integer, then and say what is the variable. So here I can say mark, then I will put the mark. So if I say for example 100 mark. So this is how I will store a mark. So if I want to store the mark of all my students, say for example 60 students are there in my class. I want to store the marks of all my students. So what will I do? I'll say integer student 1 equal to 98. Then I'll say again integer student 2 equal to 99. So like this, if I have 60 students in my class, I want to say this for 60 times. And it is very tedious process. So to avoid this, what can we do is, we can go for array concept. So in a single variable, I could able to store multiple amount of data in it. So collection of data. So instead of storing student 1 the mark, student 2 the mark, I can able to store all the data at a time in a single name, single array name. Okay, so let's see how to do it. So before we see how we are going to do it, we have two types of array in Java. So the two types of array are, one is single dimension array. Okay, another one is multi-dimension array. Single dimension array and multi-dimension array. So we will be discussing about single dimension array in this video, and in the next video we will be discussing about the multi-dimension array. So how to declare an array? So we can create an array in many different ways. We will be seeing one by one. First we are going to create an array of type like this. So how the syntax is like this. First you have to say the data type, and then you have to say the name of the array. Since it is an array, we have to put a square bracket. So this shows it is an array, and followed by equal to, and here we are going to create an array using new operator, and followed by, then again I have to say the type of the array, and inside the square bracket once again I have to say the size of an array. So this is how we can create an array using the new operator. So what is the purpose of this new operator is, it will help us to allocate memory. Okay, so new keyword will help us to allocate memory space. So that is the purpose of new keyword. So the starting we have to say the data type, ending also we have to say the data type, and here you have to say the size. Say for example I said I want to store the marks of all my 60 students. So here I can give the size as 60, so that I can able to store marks of all my 60 students. So this is how, this is the one of the way to create an array using this new operator. And here you can see I have given the square bracket near the array name. The square bracket can also be given in different places. I can give the square bracket in this place also. And then I have to say what is the array name. Then again I can say new keyword, then type, followed by the size of an array. Here I said I want to store the marks of 60 students, right? And also I can put the square bracket near this side also. All are correct. Okay, new int, again the size. So whatever may be the size, I can give the size of an array. So what is the difference of putting the square bracket here and putting the square bracket here? Let's discuss that. Say for example, normally whenever I want to create multiple integer variable, so the easy method is this. I'll say integer, then I'll say a comma b comma c comma d. So what is the meaning of it? In a single line I could able to declare 4 different integer variables, right? This is what normally we'll do. Same way I can also declare array like this. So here I can say the square bracket here, and then I'll say A comma B comma C comma D. So what, one time only I'm putting the square bracket. Okay, so what does it say? A is an integer array, B is an integer array, C is an integer array, D is an integer array. So this is a array declaration. Okay, and then so if I put the square bracket here, what happened? So I'll say integer, then I have to say square bracket here, and then I have to say B is again an array, so C again an array, and again I have to say the square bracket here also. So you can see the difference between these two. So both are same only, but here in this case when I put the square bracket near the data type, I did it for one time. But here when I put the square bracket near the variable, I want to make it for many times. Like how many times I am putting the square bracket? See here. So for typing, which one is easy? This method is very easy, right? So this is the difference between putting the square bracket near the variable name, or you can put the square bracket near the data type, but both are correct only. But the standard way of using square bracket is you can put the square bracket near the data type, right? So this is the way we can able to create an array using new keyword. Okay, so instead of writing this in this way, we can also write this array creation in 2 lines also. So how can I write this in another way? So first I can do the array in a declaration, then I can do the array instantiation. So first this can also be written like integer, then I am going to say this array. So this is a array declaration. I am declaring an array. Okay, and this says it is an array name is ARR, and this is an array of type integer. In the next line I can say array equal to, here I can use new, then same thing integer, and the size of an array. So here I am going to say the size of an array is 5. So either you can write in a single step like this, or this step can also be divided into 2 steps like this: declaration, then instantiation. Okay, so this step is called array declaration, and this step is called array instantiation. Why it is called instantiation? Here only we are creating using new operator to allocate the memory. So it is creating it as an object. This is called as array reference. Okay, and this is called as array object. Okay, but here if we use the new keyword here itself, so we can directly say it as array object. So until we use when we use new keyword, that time only memory allocation is happening, right? At that time only you can say it is an object. Until then it is just an array reference. Why we are saying it as an array reference? Because if you see here in the memory, if I do this step, okay, only this array declaration, what happened means in the stack memory, there will be a variable, array variable ARR is created. And what is there? Nothing will be there initially when I do the declaration. Null will be there. So here when I just do the array declaration, no memory is allotted, just array references made in the memory, in the stack memory. After the second line, when I do the new keyword, okay, so already we saw new keyword help us to allocate the memory. So when I use the new keyword, that time only in the heap memory, you consider this is the heap memory. Okay, in the heap memory, here I said the size of this array is 5. So 5 integer space will be allotted. Okay, so like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reference of this place, say for example, the reference of this is 1FA5. Say for example, okay, the reference of this place, the starting reference of this place, that will be now stored here. So instead of null, okay, so here instead of storing null, yeah, once I use a new keyword, instead of this null, I can store the reference. What is the reference of this? So here I have to use 1F A5. So that will be stored here, and this place is now linked to the starting place of the array. Okay, so that's what happened when we use a new keyword. And you should also know array is a collection of similar data type. So here we know that we are going to store some collection of data. So here the name of the array is ARR. Then how will I locate each and every element in the array? So that will be done using its index position. Always remember, the array will start with the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can know the size of an array is 5 and its index starts from 0 to 4, which means 5 values, right? 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 5 values are there, but it starts from 0 and it's end till 4. So we can say that size of an array minus 1. So starts with 0, it goes till size of an array minus 1, which means size of an array is 5, minus 1 is 4. So starts with 0, goes till size of an array minus 1. So this is how a array will be created in the memory. And if I want to access this place, I can say this is the name of the array is ARR and it is located in the first index position. So like in this first index can be accessed by the array name, and in the square bracket I have to give the index value of it. What is the index value? 1, right? So likewise you can access every element in the array by mentioning its index value. Okay, so this is the basic idea of creating an array. Now let's code this and we'll see how it is working. So as we said, the first way of creating an array is, first we have to do it in the similar way how we create an object, because array is an object type. Okay, array is not a primitive data type, array is an object type. So we have to do like, say, the data type. Even you can put the square bracket here. This is a standard way. It says we are going to create an array, then we have to mention the name of the array equal to, then we have to use the new keyword followed by integer, and you have to say the size of an array. Let's say the size of an array is 5 and semicolon. Okay, so this is how we can create an array. So then if I want to, so now you can imagine how the memory will be created for all these things. So here we are doing array declaration and array initialization. Both are happening in the same line. Okay, so even I said this can also be written like, first we can declare an array. So this is array declaration. In the next line, I can do the array instantiation by using the new keyword followed by, I have to say the data type, and I have to mention the size of an array. So this is also right. So in both way, I can declare an array. Then so now let us try to display what will be now available in this array. So as of now, we have just created an array, but we didn't give any data or element inside the array. So now let's try to see what will be there in an array. So if I just say the name of the array, and if I try to run this program, I will get some garbage value. Okay, so it is like if I just say because ARR is an object, if I try to print an object, I cannot get the data in it. So for that, what you have to do is, we have a class called arrays, and we have to call the toString function of this arrays class, and then we have to mention the name of an array. So this is a very simple way to see the content of this array. Okay, I'll show. Even we can use a for loop to access the content of this array, but this is a very simple way. Let's now see how we are getting the data. Now you can see inside we have created an array. Size of array is 5. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 zeros are there. So if I don't put any data inside an array, the default value of the integer, that is 0, will be stored inside an array, right? Similar way, we can also create a string data type. Okay, So a string array. So how will we create a string array? Data type is string, and then we have to say the name of the array, let's say name, and we have to put the square bracket equal to, then new keyword, then we are going to do the declaration and instantiation in the same line, and let me say the size of the array is 5. Now let's run the array here. Now the name of the array is name, right? So let me run this array and see what is now stored in the, what is the default value of string. So we know that the default value of string is null. So here the null values are stored, and we have 5 null because the data type of data size of this array is 5. Same way, we can also create a double array. So how will we create a double array? The data type is double, and here also we have to say the data type as double, and then now we will display and see what is the default value of double. So the default value of double is 0.0, and it is stored for 5 times since the size of an array is 5. If I say the size of an array is 10, then I will be getting 10 0.0 that values. Okay, so this is how initially the array created and the data, initial data in the array. Now let's see how to assign some data in it, how to put some data. So we'll start with integer. So I'm going to create an integer array, and I'm going to name the array as number equal to new, then say the data type followed by the size of an array. So the array is declared and instantiated. So initially when I don't put some data inside the array, 0, the default value 0 will be there inside an array. So now we will be putting some element inside an array. So I have to say what is the name of the array? Name of the array is num, and in the 0th position we know array starts from 0. I am going to assign 10 to it. Okay, so here we have seen the array will be created like this. The first value will be mentioned, denoted as with the index value 0. Second will be as 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So here we are going for the next element, that is in first position, we are going to put the value as 20. So what will happen here? So here you can see in this location 10 will be stored. Okay, and what we gave in the second value, we gave 20 there. So 20 will be stored in this place. Okay, so 20 will be stored in this place. Same way, I can also give the next value as name of the array, and then I have to give the index of the array. Let's say the index is 2. In that place, I am going to store 30. So what happened here? So in the second position, 30 will be stored. Right, same way we will be giving number in the third index. I am going to give 40. Okay, so 4 values are there. Let us leave the fifth value. So what will happen there? 0, the default value will be there. Actually 5 elements we can give, so I have given only 4. Let's see. Okay, now let us display the content of this array. So we know that one method to display the data here is we have to use the arrays class dot toString function, and I have to specify the name of the array, that is num. So now if I run this program, you will be seeing 10, 20, 30, 40, and the fifth element is 0 because for the fifth element we didn't give any data. So if I want to give, I can say the fourth num of 4 equal to, I can store some integer value to it. So now if I run this program, so I'll be getting all this 5 value inside. Okay, so this is how we can create an array and we can put some data inside an array. So here we are using a single line to display the content of an array. Even I can display the content of an array using a for loop. So how to do that is, so I can say for, we know the for loop. I have to say the initialization I equal to 0, then condition, how long this has to iterate. The for loop has to iterate till the size of an array. So here we know the size of array is 5, but it is not a good practice to give 5 here directly. Instead, we will say the name of the array dot length. Okay, so that will help me to find what is the size of the array, the length of the array, which means how many elements are there in the array, then I plus plus. So we know the syntax of for loop, so it is going to iterate from 0th location till the end of the length. So length here is 5, so I said I less than 5, so it will go till 4, so 0 to 4. So now we will say system.out.println, let's display the value one by one. So num of 0, then nearby that let us give some space so that it will be so we'll take this ln so that it will be printed in the same line. Every element will be separated with a small space. So here we know num of I starts from the value 0, so num of 0 will be 10. Next time I value will be incremented, and then you will be getting the next content, that is 21, right? I value will be 1, so 20 will be printed. Then I value will be incremented, I become 2, so then num of 2 is 30, 30 will be printed. So now let's see how this is executing. So now we got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That is the data of this array. Right, so this is how we can able to create an array and we can able to display the content of an array. Okay, now if you see here, now we have only 5 elements in an array. If I have 60 elements in an array, writing like this is very difficult, right? 60 times I have to say num of 0 is this and num of 1 is like this, and I have to go till num of 59, so it's very difficult. So what we can do, even to get the data also, we can use a for loop. So we know if I want to get some input from the user, we have to use a scanner class, and then we have to create an object for it. So let me say the object is scan equal to new scanner, and I'm going to get the input from the system's input stream. Okay, so using this, so let's include the header file. So if we just click on it, so it will help me to import the header file automatically. So the header file scanner is package is imported here, right? Now I am going to use a for loop for integer I equal to 0, I less than again till the size of the array. So I'll say the name of the array dot length, then I am going to give I plus plus. Okay, so we are going to, this time we are going to get the value of this array from the user. So for what I want to get the data for first time, the name of the array, then I have to give the index. So I value, we know it starts from 0 till the size of an array -1. So here we gave I less than, so it goes till, here in this case it goes to 4. Here equal to, we are going to get the data. So using the scanner object dot, we are going to get the integer, so we'll use next int. Okay, so let's so here we will use something system.out.println, and we'll say enter the elements of the array. Okay, so now let's run this program. So here it will be first asking enter the elements of an array. So I'm going to say like 100, and let me say 20, 45, 23, 78, right? I gave some 5 elements, and finally using this for loop, it is printing all the elements present in this array num. So we have entered 5 elements. The 5 elements are displayed using this for loop, right? So when in earlier case we wrote 5 lines to assign some data to this array, but when I use a for loop, we can achieve it in a single line. So in this case, if I want to even get 100, if I have the array size is 100, it will be very easy for us to get the elements of an array from the user, right? So this is how we can able to create an array, get elements in an array, and we can able to display that array. Okay, so for example, here we have received 100, 20, 45, 23 and 78 as the input from the user. For example, I want to change this 20 to 200. Okay, so if you want to change, that can also be achieved by, first we have to say name of the array followed by which index position we want to change. This is in the 0th index, this is the first index. So I'll say 1 equal to, I am going to reassign the value, or I am going to update the value as 200, right? So I am going to get some data and then I am reassigning it to 200. So now let's run it again. So that you will, so whatever I'm going data, for example, I'm going to say 10, 23, 60, 56, 34, 78. Now you can see this is the 0th index where we have 10. In the first index we have 23 and second index we have 56 and like 34 and 78. But what we did here, so we are displaying all this value. So in the first index we entered 23, but here we are getting 200. How we are getting like this? Because we changed the data in the first index position. So this is the first index position. This is 0th index position, first index position. That value is changed to 200. So that's why we could able to get the updated one also. So this is how we can even change the data present inside the array also. Okay, so this is the one way of creating array. So already I told there are two types of array, single dimension array and multi-dimension array. We are discussing about single dimension array. In the single dimension array, this is how we can able to create, this is the first method of creating a single dimension array. Okay, so now next thing we are going to discuss is how to create a single dimension array in next another method. Okay, so this method, now we learn how to create a single dimension array using new operator. Now let's learn how to create a single dimension array using array initializer concept. Okay, so this is the second method of creating array, that is called array initializer. Using array initializer method, we are going to create an array. Let's see how to do it. So first we did it using the first method we saw is like using the new operator. Now we are going to do with array initializer. So how to do it? Again, first we have to say the data type. Then we have to say it is of type array. So we have to say a square bracket. Then we have to say the name of the array. Then we can directly give the data or element of this array. Say for example, I can say 10, 20, 30, 40. So this is how we can create an array initializer method. Okay, I can create an array using array initializer method. You have to note here, I should not specify any number here. Okay, whenever we in the previous method also, if you see, if you want to mention the size of an array, you have to mention only in the right side, not here. If you give 5 here, it will show you error, right? So that's the syntax. So here again, we don't want to mention any size of an array here. Automatically, the Java compiler will come to know what is the size of an array by looking on how many elements we have kept in this array initializer. So in this case, we have given 4 elements. 10, 20, 30 and 40. So this automatically it know the size of an array is 4, right? So if I add one more element to this, say for example, if I say 5, so here now we know we have 5 elements in this array. Automatically Java compiler will allocate 5 memory space, 5 consecutive, okay, memory space for this array. So this is the second way of creating array. So this is the right way, but you should not do a mistake like this. So if you should not do like this, okay, this is wrong method. So how this is not possible here when you use a array initializer. So you should not do like this, num equal to, and in the second line if you do the array initializer, it is wrong. Okay, this is wrong. So if you want to do an array, you want to create an array using array initializer method, then the declaration and initialization should done in the same line. You cannot do in 2 different lines. If you do like this, that is the wrong way of choosing. Okay, this is not correct. So when you use an array initializer, you have to declare declaration and initialization should happen in the same line. Okay, so now let's quickly implement this as well. So here we are going to create an array using array initializer method. So first we have to say the data type and we have to say it's an array. so that we are putting a square bracket, name of the array, and using for array initializer you have to put it inside the curly brace. Inside the curly brace we have to say the elements of the array. So you can say 1, 20, 32, 45, 78, some data. Okay, so we have did the array initialization and initial declaration and initialization happen in the same line. So now you can use a for loop to display the content of this array. So we know that first we have to start it with the value 0, because we know the array index starts from 0. Then I less than name of the array dot, it has to go till the length of an array, then I plus plus, right? So now I can say system dot out dot println. I am going to display the content of an array. So let us separate each element with the space, and we are going to display everything in a single line. So if I run this program, you can see all this element 120, 3245, 78 all are displayed here. Okay, so this is the second way of creating an one dimension, that is single dimension array. So we can create array in two methods. So one is using new operator, and the another method is creating array using array initializer method. So here declaration and initialization should happen in the same line. I hope that you have understand how to create a single dimension array. So in the next video, we are going to see how to create a multi-dimension array. Okay, thank you.